Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Breaking Firewalls and Glass Ceilings. I'm Tiffany, and this is episode 2. How did we get here? This one's a little personal, a little raw, and totally necessary. If you've ever looked around at your life and wonder, how the hell did I end up here? Then this episode is for you. Let's rewind. Childhood, the first firewall. I was an only child. I have a half brother and a half sister from my father's previous marriage. We are not close. My life growing up was good. When it was good, it was good. When it was bad, it was very bad. My parents did get divorced when I was in elementary school at some point. My mother claims it affected me. I don't remember that, but she's dramatic, so you never know. My mom was an alcoholic. It came and went a lot. As I said, the good was good, the bad was horrendous. I felt like my father never loved me for me. My father always told me I was sensitive or too much or too wild, never able to safely be myself because I was always too much for him. I always feel like I had to either prove myself to Dad or be the person my mom needed me to be. My mom used me as an emotional crutch a lot of the times. My mom wasn't always difficult, but when she was drunk, she was unbearable. I was very non-verbally expected to care for my own mother emotionally. My mother has narcissistic tendencies and constantly feels like not only is she the most important person in the room, but she should be treated as such. I think that kind of mentality came from her father because at least one of her brothers is like that. And disrespect is like the worst thing that can happen to them. So I grew up in a Christian nationalist family. My parents weren't Christian nationalists. They were Christian. But everybody above my mother is Christian nationalist. Both sides of the family. There's no drinking, but that side of the family, no drinking, no gay. I would never be allowed to be gay. It would never have been accepted. No people of color. Everybody in my family was white. I think there was one Asian guy, and I don't know how. I wonder how much that person heard about marrying a non-white person. Obviously, I'd never noticed. I knew growing up that they said gay is bad and gay is wrong, and so I thought gay was wrong for a long time. And I knew that it was not worth the pain of putting somebody through to bring home a person of color. It felt like it was not, like it was wasted to do something like that on them. Like, it felt like it would bring more pain to somebody's life than love to be with me, with my family. I never felt like suppressed about it because I never thought about it. But yeah, Christian nationalists have children and then they mold them into what they expect us to be, which was a good little Christian girl, not gay, marries a white man and has white children. This is obviously never said out loud, but it's there. Childhood was never easy for many reasons, and that was one of them. Learning that I can't be myself, that I have to show them the person that they want to see, that I have to take care of an adult emotionally. It was a roller coaster with my mother. One moment, she's my best friend, my hero, and then the next minute, she's driving me drunk to my swim meet where I know she'll embarrass me all day long. One day I found my mother passed out, face down in the carpet, and I think I was like 10 to 12 years old. Found vodka bottles in the cabinets in the bathroom, empty, 10s and 20s of bottles just sitting there. This is something like children shouldn't see. This is something children shouldn't see. But technology was always something that I was interested in from the very beginning. When my mother was working as a nurse, a home care nurse, she was working in an office, and I would get to go in every once in a while with her and play with the desktops, and I loved playing with Windows desktops. and never was a fan of the Mac. Sorry, Dad. I liked learning about it. I thought technology was so interesting, and I think that that was the first little peek into what I wanted to do with my life. Okay, teenage years, escaping but running nowhere. My teenage years weren't easy either, pretty similar, maybe a little bit more dramatic because now I understood what was happening around me and seeing it face to face. In school, I was bullied relentlessly from middle school up, so high school was the worst. I don't know when those people decided that I was a loser, but it stuck all the way until senior year. And to be honest, it took me leaving the state and starting a new life with new people away from Kansas for me to realize I'm not a loser. Those people are just mean. Being from Kansas, a lot of people think I'm from the country, but when I lived in Kansas, it was the 38th richest county in America. I lived 20 minutes from Kansas City, so I am not from the country. I'm from the city side of Kansas. And I don't know why these people think that they're so great that they get to treat other people like garbage, but that's how I grew up. So my self-esteem was trash on top of my drunk mom. This is the reason why you will not find me in the junior or senior yearbook at that high school, because I hated that place and I hated all of those people. I thought I was a loser because of them. Of course, I don't want to spend more time with them. My mother's alcoholism went wild. She embarrassed me in front of boyfriends. I'd finally gotten a boyfriend at school, and he was really cute, and my mother probably scared him off. One day, I got up to go to school in high school and my mother was supposed to drive me. And when I went downstairs to ask her if she was driving, she was drunk, trying to kill herself with a shish kebab to her wrist. So I called my grandmother and she had to drive me, and I cried the whole way to school. Really set me up for success to thrive in high school, right? So after about 2 or 3 DUIs, my mom finally left Kansas. She moved to Texas to get away from the court cases. My godmother lived there, so she accepted her. During this time, several traumatic, horrible things happened due to my mother's drinking to her. She ended up being kicked out of my godmother's home in Texas, and she moved to New Jersey, where her parents are. Some of the things that my mother went through during that time was horrible, but it was 100% due to bad decisions when drunk. It's not an excuse. I cry for her and some of the things that she's gone through in her life, but it's not an excuse for what happened to me. She didn't break that generational curse. So I did. So after high school, I ran with a not so great crowd because they accepted me for me. They liked me because we would drive around in my car. It was like the high school days, or like right out of high school days. Like you drove past the movie theater, blaring rap music, things like that. I was always looking to find a family that would accept me because my mom was gone and my dad was here, but we had no connection, barely. He spoke to me nasty when he would get upset, and I never have thought that my father has loved me for me. I feel like my father loves me when I do things that he likes. At this time, I didn't want to go back to school. I didn't know what was right for me. I was trying to figure out who I was still. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with life, but mostly I was rebelling from the hardship of my mother leaving me with my father. Because as difficult as my mother was, she still was like an ally to me that was not replaceable. As hard as she was, there was a great side of Karen. There is a great side of Karen. He's rock bottom, snow cold, still studying. I moved to Easton, Pennsylvania with my mom when I was 26. I was running from a DUI, just like my mom. Classy. My mom's alcoholism and mental health was very poor. When we first moved in, it was very exciting. It quickly changed. We took out some credit cards to cover some costs because we had to move faster because of something that happened. And that didn't end up well. It turned our home into a war zone of survival when my mom was drinking. It just was a place that I would rather have not been. I lived upstairs. She lived on the middle floor. The bottom floor of the house was our landlord, Michael. When I was 27, I decided to go back to school. I think, if I'm guessing, I think that I was determined to start my own existence away from my mom. I had realized I can't stay with my mom forever. I can't take care of my mom forever. I need something for me. When I went to school, I had planned on being an algebra teacher at that point, but in 2008, 2009, being a teacher was horrendous. The money was terrible. There was very little jobs. So I decided to go in general education to figure it out. Couple classes in, I decided to switch to engineering. I liked the idea of being an engineer. I liked math. I liked science. I thought, what could go wrong? I had no end goal. I just was taking classes. I didn't know what I wanted to do still. While I was doing that, I didn't like it. I didn't like the hardware aspect of it. Like the engineering associate's degree was a little bit of everything. Chemical, computer, structural, mechanical. You know, the physics part of it, I hated it. I was like, I don't like this. During that time while I was getting my engineering associate, we were very broke. My mother had decided that she no longer was able to work and she wanted to go for disability for a mental issue. Well, several mental issues. And my grandmother was forced to pay our basic bills while we went on that journey. Mom was not able to work because if she worked, it proved she could work. So she just said, we'll just be poor for a while because that was a great idea with a child. I wasn't a child, but I was still her child that she was not taking care of. I was still taking care of her. Her mother was still taking care of her. Nobody was taking care of Tiffany, like always. It was brutal. I survived it. I survived Easton. I survived getting my engineering's associate, but it came with no positive vibes. It came with negative vibes. It came with hardship. So I didn't want to go back to college right away. I wanted to figure out a way to maybe snag a job without it. At that time, I met my husband, Kevin. Now he's my husband. We fell in love. I graduated. I didn't know where my next step in life was. So I started serving again. And then I found a customer service job that was like an office job that went really well. And I felt like that was going to slowly get me into a corporate job and I wouldn't have to go back to school. In my early 30s, my husband and I got engaged. I decided to apply to NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology, for computer science. I was very excited. I thought I would be doing most of my classes on the computer since it was a technology school, but that was not true. I wrote my essay for NJIT admissions in 30 minutes and was accepted in 30 minutes. I'm very good at writing papers. So I had taken about 3 terms, and then I was in a Java class, and my brain wasn't working. The professor was attempting to explain something, and I did not comprehend it. Everybody else comprehended it, so I didn't understand what was happening. It was one of those horrible professors, too, so his response was, I hope you figure it out. Super great, sir. Maybe you should find a new job. Then a few days later, I found out I was pregnant. So my brain had what they call pregnancy brain. It just doesn't work the same way it used to. Java made no sense to me. My writing class made no sense to me. None of it did. I was overwhelmed, burned out, and ashamed, so I dropped out. I told myself I'd find another way or go back to school later. My husband, he was never very supportive of school because of the loans. He didn't have loans because his parents took care of him. Mine, not so much. I had to take care of myself. So I listened to him and didn't go back to school and tried to find a different way. He's avoiding school, but school was my calling. I was a stay-at-home mom for about 5 years, and then we had our second child. Our first name is Kevin. Our second is Dylan. Being a mom is wonderful. And I never thought I would get to experience being a stay-at-home mom, 100% mom. And I don't regret it for a second, but it is hard. It is overwhelming, exhausting, and it's a thankless job that doesn't get breaks. It was hard. I loved it. I wouldn't give that moment up for my whole life. I got to stay home with Kevin for like 5 or 6 years, and I got to stay home with Dylan for a year. When Dylan was about a year old, we got an opportunity to send him to daycare for a significant low price. And if you live in the East Coast, you know how expensive it is to send children to daycare. So it was an opportunity I didn't want to miss. It felt like everything else I tried wasn't working, and I hadn't found where I was meant to be yet. I was regretful. I was unhappy, and I wanted something that wasn't just you're a great mom and you're a great wife and you're a great housekeeper. I wanted something where I would thrive. I'm special, something where I'm me and not wife and not mom. I wanted to be Tiffany again. So I took that opportunity and started looking at schools again. I looked at Thomas Edison University, which is just a traditional college university vibe that I would have to go into classes. And I was also looking at WGU's programs, Western Governors University. WGU had a really great program for like adults with jobs or kids, and it's basically completely on you to complete it. They give you the resources, they give you the books, the videos, the practice tests, and you complete all the work and then test out of the class. It's competency based, so it's not A, B, C, D, which is good because I'm a psycho and would get mad about anything less than an A. So I really don't need that during this time. So I decided I was going to go with WGU. I like their vibe, and I've always been really good at motivating myself. So I decided to go into cybersecurity. It just felt like it was talking to me, like it was calling my name. Now, 39 and thriving in cybersecurity. 38 is when I finally went back for the degree. Something clicked. WGU is self-based, online, and competency-based. It means you can move as fast as you're able to, as long as you know the material. It really was made for professionals that were trying to move up, like you're already in the software business and maybe you want to move to computer science or a leg up in the software, et cetera, et cetera. At first, it was a slow roll because I didn't know a lot about I didn't know a lot about hardware and software. The best thing about cybersecurity is that it's perfect for me. I feel like Goldilocks over here. It's like just enough hardware, just enough software, and it's so perfect for me. I've always been a very good coder, but I didn't want to end up coding all day in computer science, so I knew that spot wasn't for me, but this has like the perfect amount of coding, and I'm good at it. Most importantly, I don't have to be in a classroom proving myself to people that do not give a crap about me. I want to prove myself, and I think this is the best way. WGU's classes are either a WGU test, which is 60 to 80 multiple choice questions, a paper where you're doing a paper or two for the class after you read the material, or a certification. WGU includes several CompTIA certifications. The ones I have so far are A+, Network Security. I have the trifecta. I still have to get Project, Cybersecurity, and Pen Test. All the hard ones are at the end. And then there's a couple of business certifications. There's a Linux certification, and I think something else. So basically, not only will I have the bachelor's degree, it will include all of these certifications that I earned while showing competency for that subject. I mean, what proves you are competent enough than getting one of these well-known certifications in cybersecurity or security or networks, whatever? It's fantastic. I'm setting myself up for success when I'm done. So why this podcast? Breaking firewalls and glass ceilings is more than just tech. It's about the journey behind the screen. It's about being a woman, a mom, a survivor who has tripped, fallen, crawled, and still got back up again. It's about all of us who were told we couldn't, we shouldn't, or we wouldn't, and decided to do it anyways. I will no longer be a little good Christian girl who suppresses who she really is and doesn't say to the world, I am Tiffany. I want to be me. I want to be safe and I want to be me. I want this podcast to be a place where we can talk about education, career pivots, breaking into cybersecurity, and doing it all when the odds are stacked against you. I'm going to bring on guests, I'm going to share resources, and I'm going to keep telling the truth even when it's uncomfortable. Please join me in this journey. Help me to show that it doesn't matter how old you are, you can still achieve your dreams. Help me to prove to other women and girls that IT is a place for you. STEM, math, technology. You are welcome here, girls. We are just as competent. We are just as powerful. We are just as strong as these boys. Don't ever think that you're less capable. But on the other side, if that's not what you want to do and you want to raise babies, then that's what you get to do because it's your life, it's your body, and it's your babies. And that's the whole point. You get to choose what you want and thrive where you are. But it's never too late to go back and change your life if that's what you want. Join me, please. Happy to have you.